Cassie, so it's your birthday today.
Yep, but you already knew that.
Of course I did. Happy birthday.
Thanks. So what'd you get me?
Well, it's a surprise. Come in.
Why'd you yell that?
Someone ring the doorbell.
I didn't hear anything.
Well, your hearing must be getting worse with age, Cassie. You should go see who it is.
I don't know.
Who's it? Oh, someone's knocking.
All right, I'll go check.
Okay, everyone, I did not know it was her birthday, and I cannot not get her a gift again. It'll make me the worst friend ever. So we gotta make a gift.
Hey, I'll just do this.
There's no knocking outside. It was just that lady who's always screaming at the birds. What is this?
This? It's your surprise present.
My surprise?
Yep, be careful with it though. I spent a lot of money on it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Just say thank you.
Thanks. Carl,
Yeah?
you forgot my birthday, didn't you?
What? No! No way did I forget your birthday! You're crazy! That's insane! No way did I forget your birthday! Okay, yeah, I did forget your birthday.
You didn't spend any money on this, did you?
I did buy the tape.
Listen, Carl.
No, Cassie, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. I know I promised I wouldn't forget, but I did. And I really tried.
Carl, it's okay.
What do you mean?
I knew you forgot, and I just want you to know it's okay. I actually kind of like the present.
Do you?
Sure. And to be honest, the promises I care about the most aren't the ones my friends make. It's the promises God makes, because you know they're always going to come true.
Always?
Always.
Always.
Yes, always. You remember Joseph? He was put in prison for something he didn't even do. But even in prison, God was still with him. Joseph had a gift of interpreting dreams, and one day Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, heard about it. Pharaoh asked Joseph to tell him what his weird dreams meant, and Joseph did. Joseph also gave him advice to plan ahead for the tough times coming, based on the dreams Pharaoh had. This impressed Pharaoh so much that he had Joseph taken out of prison and become second in command over all of Egypt. And then years later, his brothers, who thought he was dead, reunited with him and bowed at his feet.
Whoa, just like the dream he had when he was younger.
Yep, God kept the promises to Joseph, and God is keeping the promises to us now.
Like what kind of promises? Maybe I can get a promise and give it to you for your birthday.
That's nice of you, but everyone gets God's promises. It doesn't matter who you are. God's promises are for everyone.
All right, I knew that. Like, every time I clear my plate at dinner, I get dessert. And every time I eat dessert, I get really hyper.
I don't think any of those are promises God made. We can read the Bible to find real promises from God. Like Isaiah 41:10 tells us God promises to always be with us so we don't have to be afraid. Matthew 6:33 says God promises to give us what is best for us when we put God first. And 1 John 1:9 says God promises to forgive us when we mess up.
Those are some awesome promises. God made all of them?
Yep, and not only does God make us promises, God keeps promises.
Can I promise you one thing right now?
Sure?
I promise I'm telling you the truth when I say, that's our big idea! Our big idea is God keeps promises.
So let's say it on the count of 3, okay?
Okay, 1,
2,
3. God keeps promises! Good job, everybody! Woohoo!
Thanks, Carl. Even though you forgot, you really made my day special.
Well, thanks for being understanding. I'm not very good at promises.
No worries. Plus, I ordered a cake for lunch and I told them you'd pay for it. That's alright, right? See you next week, kiddos.
Hey boys and girls, this is Pastor Jason, and we're on week 5 of our series of The Promise. This is our 5th and final week, and we really want to give you some good pointers, some good application for your life. And today's lesson, the big idea is God keeps promises. Now remember from week 4, we were talking about Joseph and how rough his life was, from being sold into slavery, thrown into a pit, accused of some things at Potiphar's house, thrown in prison is where we're at today. And in prison, he still remains faithful to God. He still praises God. And what does God do to honor that? He makes him second in command all of Egypt. So the only person higher than Joseph is the Pharaoh. It goes Pharaoh and then Joseph. He's almost like the vice president of Egypt. And so the prediction came true. Remember when we talked about Joseph, he had a dream that he'd be over his brothers. They would kneel to him and he'd be very important. Well, that's what Joseph is right now. The dream came true. God kept his promise. And so Joseph is a great planner, a great thinking ahead about the future, and he knows there's a famine coming, which pretty much means there's not going to be any food really for the entire country of Egypt. So for several years, Joseph saves all the food up in the grains, and he has excess for the famine, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So what happens to Joseph's brothers that betrayed him, sold him to slavery, told that their dad that Joseph was dead? Well, they come to the palace because they need some grains, they need some food, and who's there? Their brother. But the thing is, the brothers don't even recognize Joseph after all these years. They think he's probably dead. Now Joseph is second in command. They don't recognize him with his crown, with all of his ornaments, holding probably a staff, being very important. His brothers have no idea this is Joseph. So Joseph hears their plea for some food, for some help, and Joseph gives them what they need. But can you imagine being in Joseph's shoes? After all these years, your brothers betrayed you. Joseph could have gotten upset. I mean, in my position, I probably would have got upset too and said, "You're my brothers that cast me out. You guys need to leave. You're on your own." But what did Joseph do? He forgave his brothers. All of his brothers, he forgave them right there in the palace. Joseph revealed himself, said, "I'm Joseph, your youngest. You guys remember me?" And the brothers are probably afraid too, because he could easily have them executed or sent to their death. But no, Joseph forgives them. And the family is saved. So this entire time, all these years, Joseph trusting God, he saved the entire family. Because of Joseph trusting God, he was able to save the family from the famine and restore that family. And that's an amazing lesson that we want you guys to understand, that like it may take time, you may not see it now, but God always keeps his promises. Whether he tells you a promise today or tomorrow or for the rest of your life, that you'll maybe be a doctor one day, you may be a lawyer, a teacher, a pastor, and God tells you that when you're just a little kid, that's a promise he'll never break as long as you stay obedient and keep praising God. So remember, boys and girls, God always keeps his promises. And that's the entire point of this 5-week series, is the promise. That if there's anybody in this universe who will never break a promise, it's God. And last but not least, we have our memory verse for these 5 weeks, which is Joshua 21:45. Not one of all the Lord's good promises to Israel failed. Every one was fulfilled. So boys and girls, remember that no matter what, God always keeps his promises. And he makes one to you, you always will. We'll see you guys next week.